In this video, we're going to talk about telling the whole story. Dr. Meadows says that quite often, let's tell the whole story, and what he means is start from the beginning, go through all the steps till you come to the end. When we talk about advocation, the importance of telling the whole story, I think, can be illustrated in something that Rachel and I were talking about earlier. Several years ago, we had a little boy named Mac. And can you tell, we didn't know the whole story at first. So can you describe the process by which we learned the whole story and then the final decision that we made?
Mac had a lot of behaviors, which maybe at first would appear to be that he just had a lot of energy, he couldn't focus. But the more that we documented his behaviors and paid close attention to the problems during the day, when they would arise, why they would arise, what he would struggle with, we were able to figure out that there was a bigger issue at hand.
Mm-hmm.
And
how long did you go through that process of documenting, observing?
Months.
Months, yeah.
Months. It was not an overnight thing. And thankfully we also had a parent who was very invested in figuring out what the problem was. And so between her research and ours, we were able to figure out that the problem was a sensory disorder. It wasn't necessarily behavioral.
Right. I contrast that with, there have been a couple of teachers, I think, who've come to me after having the child in their room for a month or so, and they didn't do all of that background. And they just said, this child doesn't belong in our school. And when that happened, Karen, what do you what would your reaction be if a co-teacher said, you know, this child is not just a good fit for our school?
I would try to find out, you know, what's, like Ms. Rachel did, I was trying to find out what's going on with the child. Talk to the parent, let the parent know we see some, you know, issues with the child. Do you see the same issues? You know, and just try to find out what's going on so we can.
Why is it important to get the whole story?
So that you properly diagnose the problem.
And the child gets his needs or her needs.
Right, because if we were to say this child is just not a good fit, we just shuffled that child off and that parent off with not very much information, and now they start from scratch.
Right.
It may be that the child's not a good fit, but we have to get the information that we need.
And it also helps with mixed messaging. So
In what way?
if someone comes to you with only little bit of the information, and then they go back and start doing their thing, and then they come back to you, things will change. The more information you get over the course of weeks or months, things will continue to change, rather than if you start from the beginning and get all the information right the first time, the problem can be fixed from the beginning. So because there seems to be a lot of constant change and things happening, and it needs to be addressed at the beginning.
Well, and I think it's important to understand that the more information that you give directly impacts the decision.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't have the whole story, the decision we make may not be the right one, but it also may just be a stopgap decision.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Whereas if you get more information, a more solid decision can be reached that's more long-lasting.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.